Today, my topic, I'm going to be speaking about the top UI UX design trends in 2020. So let's jump right into it. All right, guys. So I'm going to be dissecting pretty much the top tech websites and their UIs, trying to show exactly what they're doing to make you either buy, purchase their product, or just stay in their websites, because they all have different functionalities to it, and it's going to be very, very interesting. So right off the bat, we're going to jump into, if you guys really do enjoy this content, if you guys like the design type of content that we're going to be dropping in the next weeks, the next live streams and everything, make sure to smash that like button, because it's going to help out really a lot with the YouTube algorithm, and it's going to help it spread to a lot of different people. So if you're a web developer, if you're a web designer, if you work in front end or anything related to that, I think you're going to get massive value off of this video. So really do like that freaking thumbs up button, and also check out one of our courses and our free 1-hour training that we show you how to become a JavaScript developer, and we show you these super kick-ass designs that you can implement in your apps, and that will get you, first of all, paid, second of all, hired, third of all, just getting to make projects that are really useful for people really are going to want to use them. So let's jump right into it. So off the bat, I added a GIF right here, which is, I think, super awesome, because it shows a little bit of animation. Right now, animation is super hip, super in, instead of design. And the thing about this is that you see it as just like maybe things moving around in the screen, which is dope. It really is. But at the same time, you see 3D design inside of it. And at the same time, you see very humanistic like type of movement inside. So it's subtle, yet it actually applies with a lot of different design trends that are going on right now in this year. So right now we're going to be dissecting the 7up website, right? So 7up website I was recommended to it by one of our viewers, which I think was pretty freaking dope and awesome, man. Right now we have about 250 concurrent viewers. That's awesome. If you guys like this type of content, make sure to share it with your friends. Let everybody learn. Let everybody, hop in this train of design and UI UX. So let's get it out there for as many people. So what I want to do is check out the 7up website, which I think is one of the best websites that I've seen in modern times, at least in 2020. So let's actually click on it. Let's go. Cool. So this is the 7up website. Right off the bat, what we can do and see from this and dissect from this actually is the fact that it's super human-like. So one of the big top trends designs of these websites, and really, so a video plate, so it makes it very accessible for you to go into the videos and all of these things. Let me actually mute this right here. Here you go. So the cool thing about it is that it makes it super human-like, right? So it shows a glass of 7up. It shows how images move around all of this. It shows a glass, from the top to the bottom. It's kind of like if you were looking at it in a perspective of a human, right? So it's super dope in that sense. Big images, like I said, are super in right now in 2020, design-wise specifically. And also, as you can see here, there's a human hand literally pouring a 7up over a drink. Man, you never really drink 7up in this type of presentation. You drink 7up in a freaking normal type of glass. These guys are dropping it in a cocktail. So they're already hitting up, people that want to get refreshed by the drink, people that want to make cocktails from the drink. They're showing how to make cooking recipes for the drink, and also literally seeing how to maybe make popsicles off of it. And that is dope just because of the fact that you can use it so many different ways. So already in this design, you can see that it's super humanistic. It shows images that you would see in real life, scenarios that you would see in real life. So all of these are different. Let me show you right now. Examples. It's different examples that you can see pretty much. So diving deeper into it, 7up, I think it's a great website to follow if you do want to follow what is very hip in designs right now. Only, even the user experience of it is just amazing, man. This is so minimalistic. This is so hip. Obviously, these guys are trying to hit, younger markets. If you're 65 years old, you might not think this is actually that cool. You know, it's kind of even retro in a way, which it's hitting that classical type of, you know, brand look that these guys have had going on in like the last maybe 10-20 years, but also making it very hip and also very, you know, I think very interactive at the same time. So, you know, diving a little bit deeper into this, that was the 7up website. I love it. The big images, like I said, are very, very in right now in 2020. It's one of the biggest things that you can do. And this is one example that I'm going to share with you guys, showing you how actually important it is to add photos in your app and website designs. So specifically right here, you can, let me actually get my pointer here. So you can see the eye tracking test. So these are heat maps. So wherever there's a little bit more red in the actual picture, you can see where people are clicking the most, where people are interacting with the most within that app, within that website. There's an image here and people are going, you know, around the text. You can see the green. That means people are clicking on around that type of area, but specifically they're clicking on their face. So even having an image that pretty much a girl that's pointing down like that, just a girl that's pointing down like that, you know, gives a little bit of direction on how to move inside of that app. And that's a big, big thing that you're going to have to implement in your design moving forward in 2020 and beyond. It's, you know, all about the intuitiveness of how you move around a specific app or a website. That's why big companies like Tesla, big companies like even Rolex are killing it in their marketing and their web design because of that fact, because they make it very easy for the user to use their specific websites, man. And so this is literally a real life example of that. So moving forward, there's another example that I want to show you guys. There's so many different designs. Depending on the branding that you have, the branding is kind of going to dictate the design of your website. So, you know, depending on what product you sell, what type of website you have, whether that's maybe an online course website, an e-commerce website, maybe just an informational website, that is going to dictate what type of design you're going to have in your website. One that I like very much is going to be the Mecca website. And the Mecca website is cool because going back to this inside is an actual festival. It's a huge festival in Australia. Look at it. Look. So it's loading. It shows a little 3D cube inside of it. That's super hip, man. And guess what? These guys are trying to target really young audiences. And what we can see here is that, what the fuck, man? These guys are actually, you know, look at this. Like, I'm hovering over. You see pixelated or actual, you know, maybe static type pictures on top of the hovering effects. Man, that is so dope. So to me, this kind of reminds me of the 90s style. It's kind of like video gamey. It's kind of like retro in a way. I think it's so cool. Like, if you want to target the 90s, you know, the 90s kids, everybody that was born between 1990, maybe 1999 or whatever, maybe even 1985. These kids are going to recognize this type of design because that's how it used to look. Websites used to look like this. But at the same time, it's like if you're looking at this, you know that these guys are kind of advanced, but they want to give that look. So green with purple kind of is a very fresh type of look. It doesn't go hand in hand with a lot of designs just because it's kind of like opposite like. But at the same time, you can see a lot of movement within this website. So you got a big block, a big picture here, like I was mentioning. Big pictures, big videos are very, very in right now in design. So all of this is part of that. So, you know, you go over this, it shows you how to maybe even download info, everything that they offer in that page. So, you know, going back to the actual presentation here, I feel like it does depend a lot what your website is going to be based on. So you're going to want to pay attention to what type of branding you want to make. And all of those things are going to be super important in dictating the type of website and the type of look that you're going to get. So going back into this, I feel like a big example of right now in the industry that you can see is going to be the Tesla website. And we might even build it with React just because it's so good. Tesla, man, their sales have increased like freaking crazy. And the only way pretty much to buy a Tesla is through this website. So you guys have to know that it's getting results, because at the end of the day, let me put my keys here actually, guys. At the end of the day, man, design is awesome, but if your design is not bringing any results, then it doesn't even matter. You know, it's not about how things look, it's how things perform. So the Tesla website has shown to perform very, very well. We're going to go into it right now. Man, Apparently this was the, let me see. So, cool. There was the freaking 7up link popping up, but we're gonna pop out the Tesla website really quick for you guys. So we got it right here. Very, very, very popular. Look at this. So it's very interactive. As you guys can see, like I'm talking about, big images are super in right now. A lot of times these images even move. So animations, subtle animations specifically, is what's gonna pop a lot in your website. So scrolling down a little bit, you can see how it even just scrolls up or down to what specific model you're looking at. So the Model X, right? You're seeing it. Not only are you seeing the car, but you're seeing it, you know, interact in its own environment. So this is where Model X car would probably be the most successful, you know, in the road, next to the mountains and stuff. Maybe the Model 3 would be cooler in the cities. You're trying to, you know, this is more of a trip type of car. So you're doing long form trips in it. So they show it inside of the, you know, maybe the mountains, maybe long roads like that. Model 3 is more like a city-like car. So they're showing a picture of it in the city. And even Model S, like I said, it's more of a kind of like a high-speed type of car. They're showing it where there's not many cars around, and all of that is shown right here. And let us see. Even, man, these guys are even showing you how the Tesla would look inside of your house. So all of these things are super genius, man, and it has a lot to do with the type of product that you're selling, like I just said. So you're going to want to sell a car. You're going to want to sell and show mock-ups of how it would look in your house. These are all the accessories that come with that. But going back to, you know, the actual presentation itself, Tesla is a great example of this because it's grown so much over the last years and people are loving it. And like I said, we're going to be creating it in the next few weeks for you guys using React, using other type of technologies like that are more web development based. But right now we're going over design. So let's dive a little bit deeper into all of this. I feel like a good website for this too is going to be Rolex. So Rolex, as you guys know, has been it's withstand the test of time, man. Rolex is a brand that is amazing. It's iconic. It's cultural in so many cultures, whether that's the European culture, the American culture. It's a symbol of success, a symbol of, you know, having money, having the money to spend on specific things. And I'm telling you guys, big pictures and big videos are popping up a lot right now in design. So these guys are essentially an e-commerce website. And what are they doing? They're showing their clocks or their watches in big images. Because why? I mean, these are high end type of watches. So let's click on it actually. So you want to see these watches kind of having, you know, your design has to follow the feel of the watches. So these watches specifically are you know, grand. They're big. They're expansive. So the design has to kind of follow that. And off the bat, as you go into the website, you can see here, there's a big video to just welcome you inside of the website. So it says out of the blue, 1 of September. So apparently they're making a launch with one of their new watches right here. They have a huge video to show it. And specifically, you know, they're showing big. No, I never really see e-commerce sites that have images that are this big. And like I said, it's to show how grand these products are. You click on one of those products, you see a huge, you know, demo video going on, and it's amazing. It looks beautiful. It shows you a little bit of a demo here in 3D of that actual watch and shows you the different colors of the watch. So it's a huge full-on experience of every watch that you want to buy. And that's not easy, man. Like, people had to actually think about this. It looks amazing. Like, if you're gonna want to buy a watch that's pretty much $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, you're gonna want to see a little bit of commitment from the guys that are pretty much building that brand. You know what I mean? So, you know, going deeper into all of this, this is the Rolex website. That's a great example that you guys can follow if you guys are doing e-commerce, if you guys are doing, you know, high ticket e-commerce. All of those things are great for that. And now, guys, like, you know, this girl right here, this blonde girl right here, she's super excited to dive into designs. I feel like, you know, I'm ready for it. I want to show you guys everything that is in. Who's ready? Who's down for learning designs right now? Drop it in the comments below, guys, and smash that like button right now. We're about to hit the 300 mark of likes right now in this video. So I'm feeling kind of, fun, feeling kind of goofy. There's so much things going on. We're going to dive deep into new designs of 2020. And one of the biggest trends that I see in design right now in 2020 is going to be, without a doubt, neomorphism. Hands down to neomorphism. Why? It sounds like a very, very hard word. It's funny. I'm seeing here Amanath. He's saying, yo, Frankie, Tesla and Rolex must sponsor this live. Lol. Hey, man, I would love a Rolex watch right now. That would be amazing, man. It would just add so much to the whole experience. But definitely, so many people are giving love. Let us see. People are saying, no, I mean the tool he uses to write on top of the slides. The tool that I use to write on top of the slides is either Screen Brush or just a presentation tool in Google Slides. So, guys, you can use that if you guys want. That's dope. Blow the horn. Hey, let's go, man. Neomorphism, I think, is a great type of style in 2020. And what is neomorphism specifically, man? It's kind of a weird word. It's kind of a very, a hard word, I guess. New means like literally new, like something that is new, brand new. Morphism means, morphing means forming into something. So forming into something new pretty much is the etymology of that word. And what is it exactly, right? So how does neomorphism relate to skeuomorphism? The cool thing about neomorphism, let me actually get my presentation tool right here. Neomorphism came from skeuomorphism. And what the frick is that, man? As Nas would say. So one of the most interesting things about neomorphism is that it draws from both skeuomorphism and other massively popular styles. So to be completely, I want to be kind of clear with you guys, because these seem like really big words, but in reality, they're pretty simple to understand. And skeuomorphism pretty much is, the fact that you're getting real world objects and putting them into design. So, making buttons seem 3D, kind of like if you had a calculator and, you're seeing the objects look a little bit 3D, they have a little bit of shade, that would make it more of the skeuomorphism type of, vibe. If you're looking to make things a little bit more kind of like the real world, but at the same time making them minimalistic and digital, that's more of neomorphism. So it's in between making them very flat and making them very, real world alike. So neomorphism is pretty much that. It's in between skeuomorphism and flat design. And so, yep, here they go. So skeuomorphism and other massively popular designs such as flat design. Yes, both of those are opposite to each other, and neomorphism falls somewhere in between. That's exactly what I just said. And so one of the cool things about this is like, okay, so what does neomorphism look like in UI design, and what can it do for your products? We've got the full run through for you on this new trend. So we're going to dive deep into that. What is neomorphism? Because there's so much text, there's so much type of content going on to being thrown around. Love it. Love you guys. People are saying Docker Bunny. Nice. Hello Facebook. Awesome. And Apple website is awesome. Yep, that's a great website with huge images, with a little bit of neomorphism. And we're going to explain how that is. Maybe I can actually visit it on this specific light. So neomorphism was born from skeuomorphism and went on to create a new entire UX style. Designers from all over the world have seen catchy neomorphic designs on Dribbble and Behance, and now it's a trend on its own. So those are great resources to actually look into. I'm gonna hit on them a little bit later in the actual presentation, but for now, if you guys want to drop off because of whatever reason, you got to take care of your dog or whatever, that's gonna be a good excuse for you. So neomorphism, going specifically into it, what is it? Let's break it down. Skeuomorphism is what I said before, is a very 3D design, so it's pretty much representing the real world but in design. So if you can see this, look at how they're adding the shades. It goes from purple to even almost white. And they're just showing that so that you can see the dimension of the buttons, right? And it's cool. In my opinion, dude, like it looks kind of old. It looks kind of like early 2000s and even 90s. I kind of like it, but not really. Like I even like the flat design a little bit more. I feel like the flat design looks pretty freaking modern. And Neomorphism, skeuomorphism looks old, really, really old. Flat design is hip, it's nice, it's light. You can pretty much see everything. It doesn't have any shadows whatsoever. So it might not even be that hard to design, to be honest with you. I haven't had experience designing flat design, but at the same time, I don't see any, like I said, shadows, any dimension to it. So it must be easier. And so the cool thing about neomorphism is that there's so many videos right now, actually, so many people talking about it. It might actually be one of the biggest trends in 2020 in design of UI and UX, and even just web design all in all. So that's what's cool about it. So neomorphism, if you can see this, pretty much it's a combination between these two. So it has the 3D aspects of it. As you can see around this button, you can see the shadow of it. So it makes it seem like it's a real live button that you're clicking. And this is pretty much a calculator example of it. Right here, you don't see any type of dimension, any type of shadow to it. It seems like you're just clicking on something digital. But right here, it's like, oh, damn, I got a real calculator in my hand right now. Neomorphism, like I said, is going to be in between flat design, in between skeuomorphism. And the way that it works is that it doesn't give so much contrast around the actual experience of using that UI UX design. And here you can see a lot of contrast, right? There's purple, there's white, a lot of different contrast. That makes up the dimension of things. Right here, you can see white and gray. There's not that much contrast in between of that. So that's why it's beautiful. This is another example of neomorphism right here. So as you can see, this specific, display picture, it's a flower or whatever it is. It looks like it's popped up. So just giving it the quality of it being something, you can see the shadows here. So it means that it's actually, it's type of representing something in the real world. It's like if there was a circle or a window or something like that, has the shadow right here, makes it look really clean. There's also a little white outline around this design right now. Then there's like gray right here. So it gives it a lot of dimension. But the cool thing about this is that whenever you do click on every button, it just turns a little bit grayer or it turns blue. And that specific, low type of contrast, it's what is going to make your design pop a lot. So we're going from gray to blue. That's what's going to actually, kind of force you or kind of just show you around the whole design. So let's move right ahead. Another big thing right now, let me just take a little sip of this coffee, is going to be dark mode. Everybody, if you're a developer, drop in the comments below if you guys really love the dark mode and specific text editors like Visual Studio Code or maybe even Eclipse, maybe even, JetBeans, JetBrains, all of these type of IDEs and text editors, Atom, all of those. So dark mode is dope, not only because it looks really cool, it actually has a lot of results tied behind it. And what I want to show you guys, I like this picture a lot, just because it actually is, it's an example of neomorphism and it's an example of dark mode. Because why, guys? Can you guys tell me why this is an example of neomorphism? Drop it in the comments below. Yep, be a little bit engaged, guys. Let's keep the energy up. Right now, we are at 375 likes. Oh my God, let's reach 400 likes, guys. Come on. Thank you guys so much for being here. We're almost at 400 concurrent viewers. Damn, I love that type of engagement, guys. Thank you so much. VS Code, somebody's saying, Ayush Pandey, and voice low OP. So my voice is kind of low, and let's actually talk a little bit higher for you guys. So dark mode is awesome just because I think it looks more appealing to the eye, to be honest with you. So I'll be, like me personally, I'll be a little bit more engaged with an interface that is kind of black instead of something that is really white, because white kind of hurts my eyes. And if you guys can see here, my iPhone, I'm going to show it to you guys. It's the black and the dark mode iPhone type of, vibe. I didn't want to use the white version. One, specifically, if you're talking technically, it just is going to save a lot of your battery life. Showing black pixels versus showing white pixels is just going to save a little bit of your life. Oh man, we got a $2 donation by Jason Francis. Thank you so much, man. He says, very informative. Good job, team. Thank you so much, brother. We really appreciate that. I love it. So dark mode is awesome because of what I said. It does save a little bit of battery. At the same time, this design right here shows the neomorphic design of, being popped up. So this looks like an actual type of, maybe even like a meter, something like that. This shows like it's separate from this, like if it was put on top of it. And then this circle makes it seem as if it was clicked, you know? So all of these things add to the actual like human-like functionalities of design. So I went into the Rolex website, but going into this specific presentation here, this is another example of dark mode. Like I showed you guys right now, this is how my iPhone is. So iPhone recognizes this specifically, so they let you go into, you know, whether that's the dark mode or the just the light mode, the white mode, that literally is the default mode. But I think in the future, probably dark mode is going to be the default, you know. So it's a very interesting thing, man. It's been picked up throughout the years. People are loving it. People are digging it. Some people cannot even use their text editor if it's not in dark mode, man. We just crossed the 400 like mark in this video, guys. Let's freaking go. Smash this like button if you guys are enjoying this content. If you guys want to learn more about design, UI, UX, web development, and all of these things. Thank you guys so much. It really feeds us to going forward with everything. And man, I'm having a blast here. Some people are asking, where is Sunny? Sunny's going to be live next week. He's going to be showing you guys how to build great projects with the MERN stack. So it's going to be a full stack development project using the MERN stack, and going to be creating projects such as WhatsApp, such as, I'm not even sure, Amazon, I believe, and all of these things. So they're going to be great. But going back into this, like I mentioned before, you know, Visual Studio Code in dark mode is awesome, guys. I cannot use it in just the regular white mode, especially if you're using Windows. Windows a lot of times uses just a white mode, the normal default mode. To me, it's so hard to engage in a text editor if I'm using this. Dark mode is awesome. Most developers do like it. And why is dark mode awesome? Like, does it just look awesome, or is there actual real benefits to it? Well, let me share that with you guys in the next slide. The cool thing about dark mode is that not only does it look better, in my opinion, it's shown to have so much more results, guys. This is insane. I saw this picture, my mind was blown. Like, actually drop a mind blown emoji on the chat below if you guys are liking this. So this is an eye tracking test, and these pretty much, if you see the green, you see the red all around, is a heat map. And what that means is that it shows the user's path inside of this app, right? So it shows the interactivity that the user has had within the app. So everything that turns a little bit more red means that the user has clicked on that way more than something that is just green. So green is just like casual type of, like, you know, pointing on those things, but red is like where most of the users actually hit. So man, beautiful. Somebody says 361 people watching, 448 likes. That's a love, bro. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Let's reach the the 500 like mark, and also let's hit the $10 mark maybe in chat donations, guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to show you guys how to implement all of these design trends into your own designs this year, so that you can get paid, so that you can get jobs, so that your designs and your portfolio actually goes to the next level, because ultimately that's what we want. We want to see results. We want to make this knowledge practical. So as I was saying, you can see here that the white UI, wow, people are kind of hitting everywhere, man. So if you see this, people are hitting the red, the green, you know, things all around. That means people are not engaging in one specific area that much, right? So they're hitting all around here. They don't know where to click. But in the black and the dark UI design, people are actually hitting here a lot because it's red, here a lot because it's red. You can see red, and they're kind of playing with these other things that are more yellow. Yellow is obviously more warmer than green, so that means people are hitting the yellow spots more than the green. So using statistics, using actual diagrams, using actual information, people are actually better directed using dark mode than using white mode. And this is a prime example of this. If you can develop an app, probably use dark design in that sense. Dark UI apparently shows many more results. So let's keep going on. Another big trend this year that I pretty much freaking love, man, is using illustrations in UI and UX. So it's funny because we're moving more towards the digital era. We're moving more towards the clean type of vibe, clean type of modern designs. But at the end of the day, 2019 actually was the year where people were going a little bit deeper into, oh wow, give me some of that, new type of digital design that is very clean, very minimalistic. Now what's going on in 2020 is the fact that people are going back to their roots pretty much. People are using illustrations a lot. People are using human-like design a lot. People are using photos a lot. So even I've seen, people do graffiti typography, or maybe even just handwriting typography instead of builds, instead of designs. And people are digging it so much. We're seeing so many results from that. This is another example of illustration being used in UI and UX. So these illustrations you can do in different ways. I would suggest using just Adobe Illustrator. I think it's a dope tool. I loved it, man. Once I knew Adobe Illustrator, I kind of didn't want to go back to Photoshop just because it's so interesting. Like, it's so intuitive in the way that like you would interact. It's like kind of like I don't know if you guys have ever used Windows Paint, but Windows Paint was so fun for me when I was a young child. The thing about it, about Adobe Illustrator, is that it's pretty much Windows Paint on steroids. So you can pretty much do a lot of things with it. And I bet you guys most or a lot of the designs that you see are done with that specific tool. So Adobe Illustrator is going to be one cool thing about it. Another great trend going on right now in UI and UX is going to be the onboarding experience that you give your users. And why do I say that? Just because, man, if you're actually creating SVG grabbing the eyes, people are saying. So SVG is a type of file, and I think it's one of the best files that you can get in your designs, in my opinion, because you can stretch them out as far as you want or stretch them down as far as you want, and they'll always keep that very clean quality, non-pixelated quality to them. So what about Adobe XD? So Adobe XD is dope for prototyping. I'm going to go over other prototyping tools later in the video, and we're going to touch on that. So people like Nero K are saying love dark mode, storyboard, which software he is using. So I'm literally just using Google Slides to show you guys everything that I'm doing right now. What else is going on right here? Is that tracking for desktop or mobile? So that tracking specifically was for desktop, and that's the dark mode tracking that I was talking about. So diving deep into the onboarding experience, guys, if you guys are making a new app, you kind of have to give directions on how to use that app. Not only give directions, but I like this specific diagram or picture because people are using a lot of things inside of this. So what do I mean by that? They're using illustration, guys, to show you how to use this app. Let's make apps a little bit more human this year. It's not all about being digital. It's not all about being clean and minimalistic. It's about giving that human functionality to it. That's what's going to get people to use your app a little bit more. So they're using illustrations. They're using right here, reference experiences of how it's loading and all of these things. So show other people that are using your app how to use your app. And this is an example that I really love. Duolingo is one of the biggest language apps in the world right now. So let's go into this website. Let's see how these guys are handling their marketing, their user experience, user interface. The cool thing about them is that I see off the bat, you can see these guys are using illustration. So you're trying to make it so that, the most amount of people use your app. So what is going to make it so that most amount of people use your app? Maybe you're going to want to use illustrations because at the same time, you're going to be hitting kids, you're going to be hitting teenagers, you're going to be hitting adults with very friendly animations. So we dive deep into this, and oh my God, we're at 300 concurrent viewers. Thank you guys so much for sticking around here. We're also almost at 500 likes on this video. We're at 487 specifically. Thank you guys so much. It's crazy, man. But going deep into Duolingo, you guys can see here that, man, illustrations are king right now. So you can choose here whatever language you want. And besides that, these guys are actually showing you how to be onboarded in their specific app. Right, so they're teaching you how to use it. So teaching you that it has personalized learning, it receives immediate rating, it keeps you motivated with results. They give you trophies, they show you improvements. Oh man, we're at 500 likes, guys. Let's go. Love it. Thank you so much for the love. Man, we're gonna learn a lot during this presentation right now. I hope you guys actually take it into practice, actually put all of these things into your portfolio, into your apps that you're building. And I'm going to be showing you how we've implemented all of these things into our own builds in the last builds we've made with Sunny, with Kazi. So let's keep the love going. Let's keep the energy up, guys. Like I said, this is kind of their onboarding experience. If you would look at it on the app, it would look a little bit different, but it still gives directions and it keeps everything very illustrative. So like I said, it hits a lot of different demographics, not only young people, but also old people. It makes it very, very friendly. So let's go back to the actual presentation, guys. Like I said, this was a great example that I want to show you, but there's other ones, right? So the onboarding experience, like I said, this is another example right here. People are using illustrations like freaking crazy, man. So illustrations, this is what I'm going to say. Neomorphism, illustrations, big pictures, all of those things, specifically with more variable type of fonts. What do I mean by that? I'll go deeper into that in the other part of the presentation. But I feel like those things right now are the biggest things in design right now. And the fact is that not only does it look good, it brings results. People would not use them if you don't bring results. Let's talk about the meditation app Headspace. So Headspace, their whole marketing is pretty much done on, what is it? Let's actually see if we can pull it up here. So Headspace is going to be interesting because it just sold as a billion dollar company, guys. $1 billion company. These guys, what are they using for their marketing, for their presentation? You can see here there's a lot of illustration around human photography. So like I said, big photos are in right now, illustrations are in right now. You know, it shows you, it gives you a little bit of direction of what you're going to do with that app. It shows you how the app looks. It looks very friendly. These are all animations here. It's kind of like the dark mode. They're hitting the dark mode too. So everybody kind of knows all of these things. They're applying it to their builds. So what are you guys doing if you're not applying to that? So that's just one example that I really, really like. So going deeper into our builds, how we've applied all of these things inside of our own design is, guys, I want to say Sunny is a freaking killer. Like, he has been implementing this. This is literally, if you guys go to this URL, you can see our Netflix clone, which we built a few live streams back. This is not the real Netflix. This is what we created as our solution to clone the Netflix, website right now. So I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller for you guys. The cool thing about this is that you're going over this. So one of the biggest things in design right now in 2020 is gonna be subtle animations. And the cool thing about subtle animations is the fact that it pretty much directs the way that you move around this app, right? So going into, all of these type of films, it shows me that my cursor is being responsive to the film that I'm being on top of. So it's actually, blowing it up a little bit. It's making it a little bit bigger. It makes it seem as if like the app and I were connected somehow. So if I want to click on it, so I guess right now we don't have the functionality on, but normally if we do click on it, it would show the trailers. Let me see. So it's going to show this trailer. Not everything has trailers, but apparently this one does. So I'm going to hit it. It becomes very interactive, and then it shows that. So that's one of the ways that we implemented these subtle designs that are so in. They're freaking hot right now. They're so hip in 2020 UI UX designs. Another way that we implemented all of this is with the Hulu website. So I actually want to go into it. Let me see if we actually have. So apparently we don't have the URL, but I'll drop it here. So it's gonna be this specifically, and this is the website that we built, and we built it about 2 days ago. I was live with Sunny in this channel specifically. If you guys want to learn how to build a Hulu app, go a few days back and check out this specific live stream. But even in this Hulu clone, Sunny made a clone for Hulu, and as you can see, as I'm hovering over it, let's make it a little bit smaller so you guys can actually see more videos or movies in the actual website. So if you go on top of it, you can see that the date of publishing, and then the type of movie or series it's going to show here. So, like I said before, hovering over specific things, making it like have subtle animation, it's going to direct your user onto how to use your specific app, man. So if I hover over, it's going to show me that it has 78 likes. It was released at this time, and it's a movie. So it's telling you, It's actually being connected with the way that you interact with that app. And that's why subtle animations are so important this year in 2020. So that was the Hulu app, that was the Netflix app. Now we're gonna go into another big trend in UI UX design in freaking 2020. We're at 538 likes in this video, guys. Let's freaking go. Love it. Thank you guys so much. We're gonna hit 600 in a few seconds. So what do you guys want to learn? We're trying to dissect the biggest companies out there in the world for you guys, so you guys can learn, take practical knowledge from it, and practically put them into your portfolio and get results, like getting a job, like creating beautiful websites that everybody can use, and interactive websites that people are going to enjoy using. So let's go right into it. So another cool thing is that gradients are super in right now. So I'm giving you guys an example right now of Facebook. I mean, Facebook does own Instagram, but at the same time, Instagram right here, you can see how it's using a gradient. So it goes from here. Let me get my pointer tool. So it goes from here to this to this. So I remember at the beginning, I didn't really like how Instagram looked, but at the same time, I kind of grew into it, man. It looks really dope. Adding gradients to it adds a lot of dimension, adds a lot of personality to your specific builds, to your specific design. It makes it look very, very classy. Somebody asks, would you be teaching us neomorphism? Yeah, my man. I'll go deeper into it in other videos. Some people say, what can I do after React.js? So after React.js, you can actually use React.js to use these specific tools that I'm talking about. Like I showed you guys, we're using, subtle animations in the Hulu clone, in the Netflix clone. We're also using gradient type of tools in the Hulu clone. So if you see the background of the Hulu clone that I just showed, it has a gradient to it because it shows a lot of dimension. It's kind of like a very modern vibe. And we are at 550 likes on this video, guys. Let's freaking go. Let's grow this to 600 likes. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate this. Let's make the best design that we can make so that people can actually use our websites. So this is another example of gradients. Spotify, one of the biggest brands in music in the world right now. Shout out to you guys because you guys just bought Joe Rogan's podcast for about $100 million. Damn, that's a little bit of money, man. That's beautiful. Thankfully, Joe Rogan, accepted that freaking that deal, man, because that's a lot of money. So one of the biggest websites in music right now in this moment are using gradients. Huge amount of gradients. Because why? It makes it look clean. It makes it look like there's depth. It makes it look like it's so professional. It's not just plain color. I'm not saying plain color looks bad. I'm just saying that gradients look really, really good, and everybody's using them. So this is another example of a UI UX of a specific type of statistic tool, and this is how they use gradients. As you can see here, things are a little bit lighter and things go boom a little bit darker to show the actual the focusing of things, how things grow. So as you can see here, it's purple and it's turning blue. This is a gradient in itself. Also, you can see the bars turning into gradients. So it's a great way to show data. You don't always have to have data being so plain and simple, just maybe showing green to red. You can show green to yellow to orange to red, and when you do that type of gradient, it's gonna show so much more specific so much more specific progress and growth from it. I'm seeing people here say Devin Gray, actually, what's up, Devin? We talked on the phone, man, you remember me? So Joe Rogan got paid, and now there's no money left to pay Joe Biden and his podcast. That's funny. Kind of political. Let's not jump into that. But I love Joe Rogan, and I wanted to mention it because Spotify is killer. And the cool thing about gradients is, like I said, it's being used all over the world. So this is a website called Gradient, and I added it here because I love the way that this gradient looks specifically. And obviously, guys, you guys are not going to be able to mix weird colors if they just don't go together. Obviously, you're going to make a gradient off of things that look good. So off of the bat, white turns to blue, turns to purple, turns to red, turns to pink. And that's just kind of natural. But if you're trying to make, brown turns to blue, turns to orange, turns to red. It just really doesn't go. You kind of have to follow color theory. And I'm gonna be touching about that in the next few slides, but these are pretty much just examples of the gradients itself. So like I said before, guys, it's not all about using gradients. It's also about making your design looks cool. So what I liked about this picture is that if you're looking to make, mobile websites right now in this moment, the cool thing about it is that, first off, these are complementary colors, right? Color theory is super important. If you guys don't know that, stick to the end so that I can explain that to you, because if you learn color theory, man, you're going to become a pro developer. You're going to learn how designers think specifically, and that's going to bring you to the next level. Then you're going to be like, yo, that's insane. That's not how that color goes with this color. Whoa, let's go. Getting a great donation by Conscious Code, and he's donating 200 Indian rupees. Thank you so much, my brother. And he is saying, is that web development? Let me actually pull this specific. Let me pull it up right here, guys. So, yep, Conscious Code is saying, let's pull it up right here. Give me 1 second, guys. So, boom, it's taking me a second, but you guys are gonna see, and it's gonna be worth it. So Conscious Code is saying, is that, let me pull it up so you guys can see it a little bit bigger. Is that web development is going to be automated by AI, and there will be no jobs in this field, and the field of AI machine learning will boom compared to web dev? So my man Aaron went into a little bit more into, CTP3, I believe, GTP3, I believe it's called. And there's ways for, right now, specific intelligence, artificial intelligence, or actual programs to pretty much write code for you. The thing about, moving into the future is that, robots are going to have to kind of catch up to this thing, man. We are still very much more advanced. It's going to take a few years for robots to just literally take over, web development in general. At the same time, man, design and trends and interactivity is always moving forward very, very fast. So, robots are going to have to catch up to that. We're going to have to program robots to learn these new techniques. So, man, just forget about all of that, bro. Just grow your skills right now. Ultimately grow your skills, make them very sellable skills, high income skills that developers, that companies can use, and you'll never face the fact that you might have to look for other jobs. If your skills are good enough, then you'll be good, bro. Don't worry about the robots, don't worry about the AI and machine learning taking over your jobs. If anything, make sure that you learn those type of techniques and technologies so that you can apply them, whether that's to your web development, your apps, or even just the work that you're doing in that specific moment. But moving forward, guys, let's go into it. So augmented reality is going to be a huge part of UI UX design in 2020. And why do I say that? Damn, guys, we're almost about to hit the 600 like mark in this video. That's going to be insane. Thank you guys so much. We're going to be having a lot of fun talking about all of these different topics. There's so much to talk about, so much, spice that I want to sprinkle into it. Augmented reality is dope just because of a few things. I think it's very, very practical. I remember, guys, I was in Charlottesville, Virginia, and I was in my cousin's company, and their company was Willow Tree Applications, and they're one of the biggest big boys playing in the app development world in the East Coast of the US. So they're based out of Virginia. A lot of people don't know, but Virginia is a huge hub for technology. And why is that? Because they pay developers so much, around 100K plus, but the living expenses in Virginia are just so low. They're nothing compared to California. I live in California. I'm in LA right now, Beverly Hills, with Kazi and all the team right now, and that's amazing. It's a blessing. But at the same time, sometimes I wish that the living expenses was not as high as somewhere as Virginia. And I was looking at specifically, what is it called? The Microsoft, the helmet, the AR helmet, augmented reality helmet. I forgot what it's called, guys. But at the same time, what was cool about it is that augmented reality adds a lot of depth to the specific, reality or your vision that you're looking at now. So if I'm looking at this computer, in front of me, there's a computer in front of me right here. And you guys can't see it, but it's a laptop. But let's say maybe this monitor, because you guys can see it. So the cool thing about this is that if I have something related to augmented reality, whether that's an app or an actual helmet, I could be able to place things on top of this, maybe on top of the screen, because it responds to dimension. And the cool thing about augmented reality is that we've seen it. Let's read a little bit about this specifically, but we've seen huge companies use it. It's not Oculus. Devin Gray is saying, I think it's called. Man, let's actually research it, guys. Let's take some time to research this. So it's Microsoft AR helmet. It's called HoloLens. That's what it's called. So it's called HoloLens. So I was there. I was using the HoloLens. Man, was that mind-blowing, guys. The cool thing about that is that I could literally reach to, literally I could just reach my hand like this, and the helmet would kind of pick up my fingers. And whenever I would snap, a menu would appear, and I could actually choose what to do with that specific, floating object, whatever augmented reality object that was inside of my view. So let's say, just to give you guys a perspective about this, let's say I'm here in this screen right now, and I want to put a little bit, maybe a world, maybe a ballerina on top of this, which those were specific graphics that I was looking at. If I want to put a world on top of this, I would just go like, so I will literally snap my fingers like this, and I could see a menu pop out of here. And keep in mind that I'm wearing a freaking helmet that has lenses to it. And if I look over here, I can see the little world, floating around, or maybe the ballerina floating around. But the way that I would do it is I would snap my fingers and I would choose it in the menu. So it gives depth to the actual reality. And how are companies using this? So let's read a little bit about this. In the last years, we have seen a lot of progress, excitement, and improvement of augmented reality, AR. The world's leading tech companies are investing millions into AR development, so we should expect to expand and grow this technology in 2020. Even Apple has introduced their own augmented reality toolkit called AR-Kit to help designers and developers build AR-based products. Dope. Apple not losing time anytime soon. I love it, man. Guys, we are at 620 likes on this video. That is insane. Wow, thank you guys so much. It would be mind-blowing to me if we can reach the 1,000 likes in this video. It's insane. So I actually came up with this title this morning. I kind of just woke up and I was like, damn, my alarms didn't go off. Like, holy shit, I'm late to this shit. But I'm so passionate about design just because I've seen so much effect on it, so much influence that I've brought into other people's lives with design. And, apps in general are used just because of the design of them. Like, ultimately, the functionalities of an app is going to be what's more important in that specific ad. But if you do know design, then that's just going to take that functionality of that app to another level. So if you team up, if you're a designer, like a web designer with a web developer, or maybe, an app designer with an app developer, something related to that, man, you guys can make a killer team. So augmented reality is huge. Let's look into this. So IKEA is using augmented reality. IKEA, as you guys know, is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, furniture brand in the whole world. These guys are, I believe they're from Denmark. They're from Eastern Europe for sure. But the cool thing about them is that they're bringing this minimalistic design and also, using more economic materials to build furniture. And that's why they're so big. The cool thing about them is that in their website, let me actually pull up my pointer here. In their website, they're showing you guys how a specific sofa would look in your space. So this is the space that the person has in that house, and they're using AR. They're literally using AR to show you how that couch will look in your house. So if you add AR to your design, it's just gonna take it to the next level. That's insane. And so Zara, I know Zara is literally the third or the fourth biggest company in the world right now, just because I didn't know this, guys. Did you guys know this? Drop it in the comments below if you knew this. But textile companies that have to do with clothes. So textile companies, the owner of Zara is like the fourth or the fifth or the sixth. It's like literally one of the top 10 most richest persons in the world, because not only does he, and he's a Spanish dude, he's from Spain. not only does he own Zara, but he owns so many other textile companies. So clothes are sold a lot in the world apparently, and these guys wanted to use augmented reality to show you how clothes would fit on you. So I don't have a specific demo of that, but this is Forbes making a freaking article about this. It's huge, man. I'm telling you, you add AR to these specific selling websites and it's gonna, the sales are just gonna go through the roof. It's insane. So Zara, like I said, one of the biggest companies in the world for textiles, and oh my God, we just got another donation from Manav Arora. Thank you so much, brother. He's donating 20 Indian rupees. I love it. Thank you so much, man. Drop a question, guys, if you guys are doing some donations. I would love to answer those. Also, let's check out what's going on in the chat right now. So Devin Gray, again, he says, they were one of the first companies I remember that used AR. I think he's talking about IKEA. Yep. IKEA is super proactive in everything that is going on in technology right now. So multilingual programmer says, I read that future websites will use blockchain. Yep, a lot of websites will move into blockchain, not only websites, but other technologies such as music. And another thing, oh man, somebody said Microsoft HoloLens. Yep, that is true, bro. Everybody was saying HoloLens. Lax Mikani also said HoloLens. Yep, HoloLens is awesome, guys. I never knew how cool it was until I used it. Moving forward, guys, augmented reality is dope because other big companies like Coca-Cola are using them right now. So let's say, B2C, which is business to consumer type of businesses, are really, really big right now. Specifically, we are a B2C type of business. We are a business that sells to consumers, which are people that want to become developers like you guys. We help consumers or just normal people become developers. And how do we do that? If you guys are enjoying this content, we do have the link in the description below. Sorry about that, to become a specific JavaScript developer, and you guys can kill it with your JavaScript skills, with your web development skills with this course specifically. And we teach you how to become a full stack JavaScript developer, learning React, learning technologies such as ES6, such as JavaScript in general, vanilla JavaScript, all of these things. And we have a free training down below in the comments below, in the description below, if you guys are interested in that. But, these guys, Coca-Cola, are using B2B type of technology. So they're selling business to business. So they're selling to other businesses and actually showing them how a specific, Coca-Cola machine would look in their business. So let's say this is a grocery market. You put your phone right here and you can see how that specific machine would look in your store. So they're using AR to sell business to business. That is insane, guys. Love it. I love it so much. So we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the design process, right? So this image is a little bit small. I could make it bigger for you guys, but let's kind of dive into it. I feel like, some people want to have a clear view on how to create these type of designs because we've thrown a lot of information out there. So, in the beginning, what I would advise, man, in whatever field that you guys are in, empathizing is a really, really smart and a huge skill that is very hard to learn. So being empathetic, learning how people are feeling in the moment. Even Gary Vee talks about this a lot. Empathy is great. If you're a salesperson, if you're into marketing, if you're into web development, if you're into app development, if you're into just computer science in general. So the cool thing about this is that you have to empathize in the beginning of your journey, of the design journey. So what do I mean by that? So in empathizing, what you're going to do is you're actually going to feel and think how your user is feeling and thinking. Because if you can't have that, then you're going to make an app that nobody wants to use. Ultimately, apps are dictated and their design is dictated on how people will interact with them. So if you make it like, let's say, and Apple is really based off of this. So, Apple really does have a thing that says, we'll make the ability for each user to do whatever they want in just 3 clicks, right? So they've said something very similar to that. If I want to check my messages or my notifications, I don't have to do like 8 clicks to get to there. I don't have to go to a folder to open it up, to go to another folder, to go into my messages, to then click on my messages and then read it. Nope. I just go into my home screen, I click on messages and I can see my messages. It's literally like 3 clicks. So you're gonna have to think about, how users interact with your app or website, and the way that you do that is by empathizing. So you think about the whole user interactive journey, right? And after that, what you do is you actually define it. So it's like, okay, so I want to make this the most efficient way for you to use this app. What am I going to do? I'm going to be empathetical in how my users are using my app. Now let's define what that means. So now what that means is that for you to go into messages, you're not going to have to do 5 clicks. You're going to have to do 3 clicks, because I'm going to put the app in the home store. That is one of the ways that you can define things. Then after that, you're defining them. And then after that, you start playing with ideas, right? So it's like, okay, so I'm putting my apps in the actual home screen. So what does that mean? I'm actually not going to make it so that they have it very hard. And we're almost at 650 likes, guys. Let's go. 646 likes. That is amazing. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate this. And we're going to be diving deeper into this. Stay tuned so you guys can learn color theory, because I feel like that is going to connect all the knowledge of all of these design tools that I'm talking about. So after you define how users are going to want to use your app, then you're going to want to have ideas of it. So yes, I can put my icons in the home screen. Yes, I can just maybe show not that many menus so that people can access my app. So ideas is, once you have that defined, you can start prototyping ideas for that. And then the cool thing is, after the ideas, boom, you prototype, like I just said. So prototyping is cool because it really shows you ways that you can build the app before building the app. So let me actually take a drink of this, and then after that I'll just answer a little bit of your guys' comments, because I see that you guys are dropping a lot of love. Let's go. Yep. So some people are saying, Zagar Tiagi, he says, they don't teach these things in college. You have to learn on your own. That is very, very true, man. They don't even teach it in companies sometimes, man. You learn it out of experience, out of people not using your apps, out of people using your apps. That's how you're kind of going to learn all of these things. So going into prototyping, man, prototyping is awesome just because, I personally love prototyping, because before building the actual app, you can just design it. You can just design the whole user experience of the app. And what does that mean? You pretty much add, how you're going to use, like how many clicks it's going to take you to do any specific function, where, your picture is showing. And whoa, we just got another donation by Deepak. Let's go, Deepak. Thank you so much, man. Yesterday, you helped us pass the $200 mark, man. I really, really appreciate that. And he's donating 150 Indian rupees. So love it, man. He's saying nice content, informative. Love it. Thank you so much, Deepak. So prototyping, I'm going to talk about a few tools. Is pretty much you brainstorming the design that you're going to do for that. And then after that, obviously, like any good software developer will tell you, after the code, after the build, you're going to have to test. Obviously, test. Even if, you're a college student, I feel like, testing your code is one of the most important things that you can do. I was even telling Sunny that yesterday. I'm like, bro, one of the things that I like the most about your development is that you implement right off the bat. What the first thing you do is test. And I see that saves you so much time, and you have to implement that into your resume, into your coding resume. So moving forward into this, one of the biggest things that I can actually recommend you guys to do is check out figma.com. If you guys are, designing any web app, any application, the cool thing about Figma is that first of all, it looks professional AF. Like, holy shit, it looks amazing. The cool thing about it is that it has drag and drop functionalities to it. So that's beautiful all in its own. So look right here. It literally tells you the dimension of pixels between the x-axis and the y-axis. So if you guys are a little bit nerdy in that, you can pretty much show the template that you're building stuff in, and it's going to tell you the specific sizes of specific windows. The cool thing about Figma that I love the most, that's just actually why I wanted to share with you guys, is the fact that, let me actually write it here. People are saying Ligma? Figma, bruh. Figma. So let's write that in the comments below. You guys are seeing that come up. So Figma is awesome because if you do drag and drop functionalities on your app, it's going to show you the CSS code. It's going to show you the HTML code that you're going to want to use for your build. So, after building them as drag and drop functionalities, you can actually get that CSS code and that HTML code, like I said, and even a little bit of that JavaScript code, depending on what specific animation or movement you do on that app. So all those things are part of Figma. I think it's a great way to implement new things into UI and UX. Figma.com, guys, check it out. So another cool thing right here that I see is Pixie.js website. So on my other video, the top 7 JavaScript libraries, we talked about Pixie.js, and Pixie.js is an awesome library for JavaScript right now. The cool thing about it is that huge companies such as Disney are using it. Literally Disney. Disney is one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world. And if they're using Pixie.js, then you have no reason why not to use Pixie.js if you're doing anything animation. Like, the cool thing about Pixie.js is that it uses 3D graphics and also 2D graphics to take it to the next level. There's also cool libraries like 3JS that actually brings 3D specific designs to the next level. But going into these were designed by Good Boy Digital company, and it's awesome. They are using JavaScript, like I said. So one of the biggest things that I wanted to share with you about this specific, Pixie.js website is the fact that for you to learn the most, guys, it's really not about the skill set that you have. It's really not about, how you're going to implement all of this. It's not about, where you want to go in your career. It's not about anything of that, guys. At the end of the day, results dictate everything. Results dictate design. Results dictate the way that you're gonna make a website, because if you're not selling anything with really nice design, then you're not gonna want to use that design if you have an e-commerce website. So my recommendation for you guys is, if you're starting off with becoming a front-end developer, a UI developer, a UX developer, what you're gonna want to do is copy top designers. You don't want to start from scratch. You don't want to think like, oh yeah, this looks good, but then have no reference experience of why it looks good. You're going to want to copy top designers in the world right now that are showing their things, such as Sony Xperia, or literally Disney, or literally all of these huge companies that are using these technologies. And I always say this. It's not about how good you are, but it's about what type of design or style you have, because your style is going to dictate the design. So if you have a very outdated style, it's going to dictate your design. If you have a modern style, it's going to dictate your design. If you have a very interactive, modern, minimalistic style, it's going to dictate your design. Learn from the top designers in the world right now. So we're going to go into this. A lot of the things that people, want to break things into is going to be the layout, which is pretty much the UI placement, the spacing, the padding, the grids of the specific build, the navigation, which pretty much is the placement and the size of the navigation bar, whether that's on the top, on the bottom, in the middle. That typography is super duper important in terms of branding, in terms of design, all of this, because it gives the feel of the whole brand, the whole website that you want to do. So font sizes, the line height, and then serif or sans serif, which is pretty much very basic typography is based on Helvetica. Most of the fonts are really based on Helvetica. If you guys want to research that, that's dope. It was mind-blowing to me. So icons are dope. We go over huge libraries that people love right now, which are pretty much, Material UI, Bootstrap, and all of these, because you're gonna want to save time, and people have already gathered those resources for you. So use icons that are very in right now, very, very modern, very minimalistic. Add them to your own design. And another thing is going to be background. As you can see gradient or photo use. So like I mentioned before, gradient is super in right now in design. So make sure to not only use plain colors, use gradients, because they look so well put together. And also, if you're using a background, you might want to think about adding a big photo in there, because it just adds so much more of that human-like specific functionality to it, as well as also it adds a little bit of more of character to it. I feel it's kind of crazy. I love it, guys. So we're at 672 likes. Whoa, that's insane, man. If we reach 700, I would pretty much piss my pants. That's insane. I never expected this. So I'm just, getting my coffee right now. I'm like, yo, just, researching a bit, trying to help you guys out with everything. It's insane. Thank you guys so much for getting a lot of value from this. I don't want you guys to just listen to all of this. I want you guys to actually implement it, because at the end of the day, so many developers, so many people have gotten jobs off of our videos, off of actually implementing these practicalities that we talk about every single day. So make sure you do that, and let's not just stay stagnant. So now I want to touch on color theory, and let me just take a sip of this. I'll dive into that deeply because I'm super passionate about color theory. And if you guys learn this specifically, then you're going to be able to learn so many other things, whether that's with design, UX, UI, or front-end development. So let's dive right into it after this sip of coffee. So what's cool about color theory, guys, is some people think, most of the people that I talk to, whether they're front-end developers, whether they're web developers or web designers, most people don't know the psychology of color. So we're humans, right? And humans have, you cannot ignore the psychological aspects of humans ever. Because whether that's with code, sometimes in code, it's really hard for you to be, engaged in the code, whether that's because you're feeling bored, whether that's because you don't have any community or like-minded individuals behind you. Everything has to do with how you process everything psychologically. And color is a thing that you do process psychologically just like anything else. And let's actually give examples to this, right? So most of the big companies that you see right now in the world are actually, think about their logos. So Facebook logo, what color is it? It's blue, right? Think about Twitter logo, what color is it? It's blue, right? Think about, I don't know, what other logo is blue? So many logos are blue. It's insane. But the cool thing about blue logos is the fact that blue is pretty much a synonymous psychological trigger for confident, for secure, most importantly, trust. So I think, in my opinion, trust is the most important aspect of the blue color. Loyal, cleanliness, progress, powerful, calm, masculine, success, responsible, authoritative. Blue is an example of all of this. And it's literally, guys, literally, it's not random. Facebook didn't want to be blue because it's random. Nope. These guys know color psychology. So whenever you're doing web development, web design, front-end design, think about the psychology of the colors. That's going to take you to the next level on how people respond to your specific apps. Another one would be red. So red is synonymous for excitement, for youthful, active leader, passion, powerful, radical, excited, bold, energy, confident, hot, energy, youthful, pioneering, and urgency. The most important one right here, in my opinion, would be urgency. So all of these pretty much are synonymous for urgency. So everything that is red, just like if you think about it in the real world, red means blood. Pretty much if you see blood, it's like, holy shit, that's urgent. We have to take care of that right now. Let's go. We're pretty much animals, we're pretty much part of nature. And we have triggers that, did develop because of color. So all of these are part of that. Purple has to do with elegance, has to do with royalty, has to do with, romantic, mystical experience, all of that. That is why a lot of royal type of colors are going to be purple. Kings used to use purple. It's a very hard color to get. And at the same time, it just gives so much more functionality to whatever you're building. And Devin Gray says, Facebook, Twitter, Bluehost, Jira, Bitbucket, basically all of Atlassian. So all of these companies do use blue, that's what I'm trying to say. And Zoom uses blue, Truecaller uses blue, Skype uses blue, Google Duo uses blue, Devin Gray is saying, Microsoft uses blue. Guys, it's really no coincidence. These guys know these things. So color theory, if you want to take your next level, if you want to go to the next level in design specifically. So like I said, guys, the psychology aspects of this is going to be insane. And one of the biggest and hardest part about programming is being able to program alone, to build things alone and not with a team, which is very much retracted from real reality. In most of programming, you're going to have to work with a team. And in my opinion, if you really want to up your skills, want to be part of a huge community of 1,500 active developers on the daily, make sure to check out the link in the description below, guys. We have a free 1-hour training that teaches you guys how to become a profitable JavaScript developer, learn all the skills from basic JavaScript to full stack JavaScript to even React, all of these tools that pretty much you need to get a job. And I'm not saying this out of my ass. So many people have gotten jobs out of this specific training, this specific program. And guys, we're pretty much tribal individuals. Let's go into creating communities, creating people, creating circles where people are engaged and we can learn from them and work together. So let's go back to all of this. Make sure to check out that link in the description below. Go to our free 1-hour training to become a JavaScript developer. Going back into brand color psychology. Like I said before, blue is trust, dependable. Green is more of a peaceful type of healthy vibe. Orange is optimistic, yet it's also kind of like warning, like it grabs your attention. And then salmon type of color is more of a friendly type of a little bit feminine type of color, but also feminine but neutral. And then pink/red is kind of more exciting, it's kind of more grabs your attention, more like urgent type of thing. Purple is more like creative, kind of like royal, kind of like visualization type of thing. And gray, which is very neutral, is a very calm color. So all of these things are part of the color psychology chart that you should pay attention to it. Also, color theory, a lot of people don't talk about this specifically, but there's primary, there's secondary, and there's tertiary colors. If you're designing anything, guys, you guys have to pay attention to this specifically. So let me see what's going on in the comments right now, guys. We've been live for 1 hour and 15 minutes, which is pretty freaking awesome. I love to share this knowledge with you guys. Some people are saying, can you tell me how to use 3JS, especially to make movie-like website intros? Man, I'll show you an example right now. Yash Munjal is actually saying that. And bro, I actually didn't want to go through websites that use 3JS because they're so dope. They're so in, like, holy crap, these guys make it an experience. 3JS is not only design, it's also an experience. And in my opinion, that's where design is going to go in the future. So that's a pretty cool comment right there. Some people like Cigar are saying, although I have been working on it since 2 years, but still I feel you can never learn the whole thing. So logically, I'm still learning, but technically it took me 1.5 months to start working on it. So Cigar, what are you talking about specifically, bro? Let us know. Are you talking about web development, web design? What specifically? So that's pretty cool. So Hemant says, can someone review this? I'm purchasing this and will work on that. I don't want to be a developer, but instead my view is work as an entrepreneur. Brother, if you're talking about profit with JavaScript, go into the description below, check out that training, maybe buy the course if you're interested and you see any benefit in joining to that, because at the end of the day, we base a lot of our designs into, our builds. We build a lot of our projects with these specific designs just because we know it is what is in right now in the industry, because that's the things that are actually going to get you results. So you want to base your builds out of results. You just don't want your code to look and be functional. You want it to be actually beautiful for people to use. You want to give users a real experience. That's why user experience and user interface people are paid so well, even above the 6-figure mark, because you would never use Facebook if the, you know what I mean? Like, you would never use Facebook or Instagram if the actual design of it was sucky. You would never use it. The functionalities are great, but the way that it kills it is that it takes a lot of psychological remarks and references into its design, and that's what takes it to the next level. That's what makes it addictive for people to start using. They think about all of these things, guys. It's not just random. So going into the color wheel, like I was talking about. So all of these things, let me bust out my little presentation tool. So primary is going to be, it's funny because people don't know this. A lot of people don't know this. There's only 3 primary colors. All of the colors in the world are based out of these 3 colors. I'm not shitting you. There's 3 colors. Okay, there's 5 colors. Let's say that. 3 primary colors, which is red, blue, and yellow. And you can do myriad, thousands, millions in combinations of these 3 colors. But the 2 other colors that I want to hit on right now is going to be black and white. So the primary colors, in my opinion, are going to be red, blue, yellow, black, and white. Because if you do a mixture of black and white, then you get gray. But those are the main colors in the world. And we're at 697 likes, baby. Let's go. You know, design is a beautiful thing, guys. It's if you do end up, you know, putting this into your work, into your builds, it's gonna take your builds to the next level. We're about to reach the 700 like mark, so make sure to like that video, smash that like button, share it with other people like you, other of your design friends, whether that's maybe a web designer, a web developer, maybe a graphic designer, maybe a front-end developer. All of these guys can take so much value off of this. And if you guys can bounce ideas off of each other, then that's going to take you to the next level. And we just crossed the 700 like mark, guys. Let's freaking go. Love it. We're at $7.70 in chat revenue. I cannot be more grateful with you guys than right now in this moment. But going back into color theory, man, what's cool about color theory, I'll teach you guys a little bit about it. I mean, I can't go so deep into it because it can literally take me hours to explain to you guys. And I can show you, you know, different types of people that used it, like Picasso, like Jackson Pollock, and huge great painters and designers in the world that stood the test of time are using color theory. So let's say I'm right now, you know, mixing red with yellow. What color would that give me? So I'm mixing 2 primary colors. So if I mix a primary with a primary, I'm gonna get a secondary color, which would be orange, guys. If you mix 2 primary colors, then you're gonna get a secondary color, right? And that's dope. A lot of people don't know that. But if you join, like, let's say I'm mixing yellow, which is a primary, and blue, which is a primary, I'm gonna get green. Guys, that's what's cool about it. So 2 primary colors make a secondary color. And the way that you make tertiary colors is, for example, I'm gonna be doing a primary with a secondary, right? So if you do a primary with a secondary, let's say red, I'm mixing red with violet. Then I'm gonna get a tertiary color, which is red violet. So secondary colors are made by mixing 2 primary colors. The 3 primary colors literally right now in the world are just red, blue, and yellow. All colors are based out of those colors. So if you mix red with yellow, which both of them are primary colors, then you're gonna get orange, which is a secondary color. But let's say you wanna mix a primary color, which is red, and a secondary color, which is orange. So you're gonna get, you know, primary mixed with secondary color is gonna give you a tertiary color. And I don't remember specifically, but I learned this in one of my art classes. The fact that if you mix, I think, more than 4 colors or more than 3 colors all in one, it's always going to give you brown. That was mind-blowing to me. I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's always going to give you brown? And I tested it, and it is true. If you mix more than, I think, that's why there's not more than the tertiary tier of colors. Because if you mix more than this, you're just going to get brown. Everything turns to brown. Everything turns to shit. You know, at the end of the day. So this is kind of how this works. And let me just tell you guys, if you guys are doing design, you guys are gonna want to use the complementary colors. So I don't think it has it on this chart. Let me see if I have it in the other chart. No, I don't have it. But right now, like, let's say, for example, yellow. So the color wheel, how it works is that normally colors are based and put here, because in the opposite part of it, then you can see the freaking opposite. So for example, yellow, the opposite of yellow is going to be violet or purple. That's why these are put together. The opposite of blue is going to be orange. That's why these are put together. The opposite of red is going to be green. That's why these are put together. Same with here. So yellow, green, the opposite of this is going to be red, violet. So if you guys are doing designs, if you guys are looking at color palettes, always have color theory in mind take some time to learn about it, because that's what's gonna dictate your design. That's what's gonna make it look and go to the next level. Now, when you guys see colors in design, you guys are gonna be able to actually be like, oh shit, like these guys are using, these are called complementary colors. So the opposite colors are called complementary. Like, oh, no wonder Easter is made of yellow and purple. No wonder Christmas is made out of red and green. No wonder everybody that is going crazy on actual color grading and just, what's it called? Yeah, literally color grading in movies is blue and orange. Everybody's going crazy with blue and orange, which is teal and orange pretty much. So color theory is super duper important. If you don't know anything about it, man, this just adds so much context in your life. So really learn about it. And two of the things that I want to actually mention here is, now that I went over all of this, and hopefully you guys could take a lot of benefit, a lot of actual, value from all of this, is I want to drop a little bit of resources for you guys to actually use. One of the biggest resources that I've been able to use myself is going to be Dribbble.com, and that's Dribbble with 3 B's. The cool thing about this is that Dribbble actually shows you, huge examples of people that have used the designs that are really right now hip, really right now, busting the industry. People are using them so much, and you can base yourself, get inspiration out of all of these. So this is an example of an illustration. This is an example of illustration in an app. This is an example of, making it a little bit more humanistic as well as illustration. This is also, like we talked about, this looks like a card that would look like neomorphism, and there's not that much contrast. So all of these things are put together so that you can kind of pretty much have direction on how to move through that app. So Dribbble is going to be a great resource for you to use this specifically. Now, going back to the presentation, guys, Dribbble is awesome. 3 B's. Don't forget that I was writing Dribbble with 2 B's. Damn, I was like, what the fuck? Like, why is it not working? And then somebody in the comments below dropped like, hey, dude, it's with 3 B's. And I'm like, oh man, thank you so much. But people get confused with that. So another one of the biggest design websites right now that you can take as a resource is going to be elements.envato.com or envato.com. This website is dope, not only because it shows you, just like Dribbble, it gives you great examples of what is very much in the industry right now. So it gives you an example of a social media booster kit, of a website of a farmer, like how you can show your freaking produce, like just specifically how to move around the city, which is a specific example of color, how you can brand your own website as logo, all of these things. Envato is a great resource that I've known for years and years to come. But at the same time, man, Envato is really cool, not only because it's very important for you if you're an actual designer, but also it's a great way to have a designer community in your life. So you can post your designer profile in Envato and actually comment on other people's builds, on their posts, give them props for them, all that, and ultimately, teach him that, like, yo, this may not be the best design. Your color theory was kind of off, bro. Those were not complementary colors. Use 3 tertiary colors, and it kind of looks brown to me, so it doesn't look that good, So all of those things are going to be able to, you're going to be able to use them at the end of this presentation. So like I said, guys, don't just take the theory of it, make it practical, put it in your builds, put it in your apps, put it in your websites. That's what's going to take you to the next level. That's what's going to take you to actually get a job with these things. So like I said before, UI, UX designers get paid very, very well. We're going to check out the actual, how much they get paid here in the US at the end of this. Another great example of where you can actually get, resources for web development, app development, web app development is going to be Pinterest. Some people think that Pinterest is just for girls. Some people think that Pinterest is just to pretty much decorate your house and all of this. But no, brother. Pinterest is awesome for recipes. No, I'm kidding. But Pinterest is awesome because it really does show you different examples of design. The thing that I like about Pinterest is that, for example, one of the biggest things, in my opinion, is that it shows you very modern design, whether that's app design, web design, or just, design in general, whether that's typography or just color and everything in between all of that. And the cool thing about Pinterest is the fact that you can pretty much just type in app design, or you can type in web design, or you can type in graphic design, anything of that sort, and you're going to see how modern they are. Most of these designs, most of the minimalist style of design comes from Eastern Europe. That's where Helvetica came to. Helvetica is the most minimalist and modern font that most fonts are based out of. There's actually a cool film that you can check out. If you check out on YouTube right now, a history of Helvetica, you're going to see this film. I don't remember what it's called. I believe it's just called Helvetica. And it shows you how all of the fonts in the world right now, the modern fonts, are built out of Helvetica. And yep, it was built and made in the, I think, 1960s in Eastern Europe. So a lot of that minimalist design that you guys see, whether that's in furniture like IKEA, or design like in the web development designs that we're seeing now, or the font designs that we're seeing now, are based out of Eastern Europe. And a lot of Eastern European design is made and shown in Pinterest. And that's something that I freaking love. It's one of the best resources that I can share with you guys. And so that pretty much brings us to a wrap. And here I'm showing a GIF right now. People are saying this is amazing, wow, when the upload React.js Scratch course, bro. People are asking about the React.js course from scratch. Guys, it's going to come in the next week. But I do want to share with you guys that all of these skills, all of these things that you can practically put into your portfolio, into your projects, are going to make it so much more beautiful. They're going to make it so much more powerful. People are going to use it. They're going to stick with it. They're actually going to, you're actually going to see results from it. So a lot of people make apps that are just functional, but at the same time, they don't look good. And if you have this ability to make it interactive, to make it so that people get addicted to your ad, man, I cannot share with you how many results you're going to get in that. But let's touch a little bit about what people are dropping in the comments right now. The Castile says, I know some logo with yellow and black. It looks awesome. So yellow and black is actually a great combination, brother. I know Dan Walker in Instagram drops very fire content. So make sure to like Dan Walker too. This guy is, most of his design does go around yellow and black. It's a great design pattern. It doesn't all have to follow the color wheel, but the color wheel is going to show you exactly, what colors you can blend together and what colors look good too. So yellow and purple looks awesome, but yellow and black looks amazing because of the contrast of that design. At the same time, I know for a fact that if you're using yellow and you're using white font, it's not going to look good. It's actually kind of like a principle in design that you're not supposed to use yellow font on white background or white background in yellow font, because it's very hard for the eye to see. So all of these things are just like, little details that people sometimes don't know. So Abdullah Tahir says, what's up, Abdullah? Love it, man. I saw that you got an affiliate sale some days ago. Congrats to you, brother. Appreciate that. And he says, UIUX holds a specific place in the popularity of the website. Let's say, and of course, you would like to pick colors which are appealing to the users or which are lighter on the eye. That is true, my man. A lot of new, modern websites are using colors that are very, very easy for the eye. So they use purple, they use gray, they use white, not so much black. Maybe black to pop up the colors that you're using, but subtle colors that don't show that much contrast. And that's going back into the actual neomorphistic design that I was talking about, you guys. So some people are saying this is dope. The next level of knowledge, Garuf says, is human-computer interaction course is important to boost our UX portfolio. Human-computer interaction course. So I think human-computer interaction is what a lot of colleges are using, or to call, the fact that design has a lot to do with the human psychology, and it's dope. And I mean, I don't know much about it, but I know for a fact that if you base your design on human psychology, how people are going to interact with your app, it's just gonna make it that much more appealing, that much more addictive, that much more easy to use. So all of those things are amazing. And Ricardo Bermúdez says, Frankie, saludos desde Colombia. Beautiful, man. Mucho gusto. My friend Ricardo, ¿cómo estás, amigo? Aquí nomás compartiendo un poco del diseño para que todos puedan aprender. Creo que el diseño es algo súper importante, super important to learn design. So, guys, I think that is going to be a wrap for you guys. And I mean, hopefully you guys can get a lot of content, a lot of value from this. Rishaf Shah says, I'm colorblind and good in front end, but always gets confused in color. That's funny, man. Like being actually colorblind and being a UX designer, that's awesome. One of my cousins, he's actually right now he's a full stack JavaScript developer. He's amazing in front end, and the guy is colorblind, bro. Like, he's an amazing artist, and at the same time he's colorblind. So I don't think that's gonna hold you back from your career, from actually applying all of these tools. I really, really appreciate this. So yep, that's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much. Hopefully you guys can apply all of this. If you guys see this as useful, then go over to our description below. Check out our free 1-hour training to show you how to become a full stack JavaScript developer, from basics of JavaScript to advanced JavaScript, vanilla JavaScript, ES6, data visualization, Chrome extensions, to even building full stack builds with React. And we're going to be adding those in the next few weeks, as well as we're going to be dropping them in the YouTube channel in the next weeks as well. We're going to be dropping merge stack builds next week, so stay tuned for those. Check the link in the description below. Like I said, if you want to become a JavaScript developer, I think if you're finding right now value from everything that I'm talking about, then you're going to be able to go into the description, see how that's going to benefit your life. And if it does, make sure to join. We have a developer community of over 1,500 students. Everybody is pumped to be there. People like Sunny, people like Nas, people like Kazi are going to be showing you weekly on live calls how to implement, how to build the best projects, how to get a job, and all of these things. So ultimately, guys, I think this is it. Thank you guys so much. This was a blast for me. Make sure to drop in the comments below if you guys enjoyed this type of teaching, these type of knowledge, because I'm super duper into design, guys. I love it so much. Ever since I got a graphic design course in college, my life literally changed. And I could just apply it anywhere. Whenever I would look at billboards, whenever I would look at apps, whenever I would look at websites, I would be like, that design is a little bit off. I think it's interesting how they're not using, just complementary colors or just colors in the color wheel and shit. Like, holy shit, like, I can actually dissect designs and styles now just because of this. So design is a beautiful thing that you can add to your builds, and I think it'll take you to the next level if you follow all of this. Thank you guys so much. Love it, and love you guys too. We are at 736 likes. If we can reach 750 likes by the end of this video, I would be so pumped, so honored. Thank you guys so much. Chat revenue was at $7.70. Love it, man, that I'm gonna buy a coffee, something like that. I really appreciate it. And we almost reached, I think, 400 concurrent viewers in this live. So shows me people are interested, people are engaged. Thank you so much, guys. Take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your day. This was Frankie here from Clever Programmer, about to hit the work day and about to just finish this off with you guys. An honor to be here. Take it easy. Bye-bye.